So my name is Tom Simmons. I'm the head of Student Enterprise, Social Impact and Events here at the university. I'm with Claire Old to the side of me, and Claire is our Student Enterprise Manager. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about what you're going to see tonight, okay? So the first thing we have up is our 8 incredible founders down here at the front who are going to come up and tell their stories about participating on our foundership scheme over the summer. They're going to really hopefully inspire you of students that have really done so much over a short period of time and really got their businesses going over our program. And after that, it's going to follow by some of our alumni businesses. Those alumni also participated on our foundership scheme as well. So 2 businesses, some incredible stories, 2 of which had just graduated and raised a bit of money, which they'll tell you about, and another student that graduated a few more years before that. So hopefully you'll start to see the kind of pipeline, the journey of early stage, a little bit later. And then headlining that is our even further stage where we have Jim Cregan, our headline speaker tonight from Jimmy's Iced Coffee. I'm really, really excited to have Jim here tonight because there's so many students we're seeing more and more who want to create incredible brands, and you can't deny that he created one incredible brand. So that's what you're going to see tonight. Let me hand over to Claire now. Who's going to tell you a little bit more about the foundership scheme itself.
Thank you, Tom. So our foundership scheme takes place over the summer, which for students is the perfect time to take your big ideas and turn it into something and make it happen. And as you'll see tonight, we welcome a range of businesses because we recognise that innovation truly takes on all forms. But the best part is there is funding for this, so you can go all in on your idea. Now, we have different levels of commitment for the scheme. So whether that means going all in full time or balancing this around other work and personal commitments. The student founders will be working alongside us in the Student Enterprise Junction, a dynamic and vibrant workspace where ideas, and a lot of the time, more importantly, coffee, flows freely. It's just across the road from here, right in the heart of the city centre, and that's where our reception will take place after this show. Now, with one-on-one mentorship and access to a network of local entrepreneurs, the foundership can only happen because of our incredible University of Southampton alumni. Those that have been there, done that, and now fund the programme to make it happen for the next generation. Together, we are all building something bigger, something where ideas can really take off. And so, with that, I think it's time to get the show on the road. So I'd like to welcome our colleague Sarah Campin and our first 4 founders to the stage.
Tom, my name's Sarah Campin. I'm one of the Student Enterprise consultants on the team, and together with the other consultants and guest advisors, I support students in developing those entrepreneurial skills, bringing real-world experience and lessons learned from business and enterprise. This is the 3rd foundership cohort that I've had the pleasure of working with. And I have to say, it's been an absolute delight working with this group of founders. Their community spirit has really made that difference in supporting each other through the foundership program. I've absolutely loved watching their businesses develop, but also them grow in their personal growth as founders and as entrepreneurs. This evening is really about them telling their story, about reflecting on the summer and the foundership program, but also celebrating their progress to date. Hopefully, it's also about inspiring some of you to take that first step or sharing the amazing support that is available here at Southampton Uni. As Tom and Claire said, we support a really diverse range of businesses, from startups to freelancers, from small businesses to side hustles, and I think you'll get a real flavour of that tonight. So without further ado, let's hear from our foundership cohort, Charisse, Tell us about your business.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Charisse, a part-time psychology PhD student and also part-time health researcher. And I'm also founder of Engage Intelligently, which aims to accelerate clinical trial timelines and produce significant cost savings to research organisations and corporations. And we do this by embedding the best evidence possible on participant recruitment. A staggering 80% globally of clinical trials really struggle to recruit enough people to understand if a medicine works. And not only does this result in an eye-watering loss of £8 million a day, more importantly, it means that people are delayed in receiving new healthcare treatments that could really make a difference to them. So you can think of this as an upstream problem that actually affects the healthcare of all of us in this room. And the thing is, the answers are out there, and some of them are hidden in the academic literature, but they're really long, and people that work in a day-to-day job in research just do not have the time to go through this information. So, Engage Intelligently. We offer services, and you can think of me really as an elite sports coach, but for clinical trials. Bear with me here. So I get my hands on those recruitment plans, okay? I make tweaks and changes, and I get those marginal gains in. And we all know how those stack to make world records and those beautiful game-changing goals. Applied to even a small study, there's potential to save up to £1 million and deliver those trial results faster. Now, deliver the trial results faster. So, what we've done recently in the last year, we've actually secured the UK's largest funder of health and care research as one of our clients. We've delivered training up and down the country, across the nation. We've won 3 rounds of competitive funding. And more recently, we've developed a database that means researchers in a few clicks can find that evidence to apply to their studies to boost recruitment. And that means they don't have to look through the lengthy literature, which, let's be honest, if they've got the time to do, is not the most exciting thing to do anyway. So in the last year, we've done that, and Engage Intelligently, importantly, is not just about efficiency. It's about having an impact on real lives and making sure that you, me, our friends, and our family get the best health treatments possible. And who wouldn't want that? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charisse. Now, I think it was almost 2 years ago on a grey January morning that you first booked a one-to-one with me to discuss the inklings of an idea around this. Tell us a little bit more about the journey from then till now.
Yeah, so it did actually start with the database, and I was like, that's my business, that's what the people need. And I was really idolising this website that's called examine.com, which, if you haven't heard of it, a team have basically scraped all the scientific literature on supplements. So if you want to take vitamin D, fish oil, protein, whatever it is, that's the website to go to, and they'll say, well, the science says if you take this much, this is what's probably going to happen. I thought, what a great idea. Why can't we use this in a clinical trial setting? But as things evolved, it turns out I ended up running training and consultation packages which launched much, much quicker. And the database ended up being a lead generation and recurring revenue service. So, yeah, it's really blossomed over the foundership. And it's been an absolute pleasure to take part in it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Patrick, tell us about your business.
So, hi, my name is Patrick. I'm a computer science graduate and founder of House of Veins. House of Veins is built for those who are evolving through pressure, wearing gymwear that reminds you of who you're becoming, not who you're expected to be. The problem with gymwear today, it glorifies the after and it ignores the grind in the middle. No worries, you're all good. So, firstly, this is through social media, selling fake ideals and fueling body dysmorphia. Secondly, you have cheap synthetic fabrics that is driving fast fashion and waste. And thirdly, with brands that's only recognizing the success and the end result instead of the struggle and the journey it takes to get there. And so House of Veins aims to flip the script. And so we create distinctive gymwear that turns struggle into strength. With oversized pump covers to give confidence at every stage, using heavyweight, 100% cotton that lasts, not throwaway synthetics. having message-driven designs and backed by a community that turns struggle into belonging. And so far, we've built real traction. Over the course of the foundership, we've done collaborations with energy drink companies such as Nightwatch, based in the Netherlands, with independent gyms such as Spartans, which is based in Shirley, Southampton, and with multiple drops over the summer, and with people wearing the brand in over 15 countries across the globe. And momentum is only growing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Now, Patrick, you've just graduated from your computer sciences degree, but you started this business in your first year at uni. Tell us about the first step you took and why you made that step.
So I think I'll say why I wanted to do it. And I'd say it would be because I myself go to the gym. I wear a lot of gym wear. And so being someone of my own customer and user, I recognized the faults within the industry. I could see them for myself. However, I knew that one person wasn't enough. And so for that reason, I started researching what other people found problems within the gym wear industry. And so I've put together all the list of different problems. And then afterwards, I knew exactly in what direction I wanted to lead and know how I can go and create a bigger impact, not only for the people that I wanted to help, but also for myself.
Fantastic. Thank you, Patrick. Great. If everybody could turn off their mobile phones, that would be great. And Twila, tell us about your business.
Hello, good evening. So my name is Twila Nkombo, and I am a PhD student in the School of Psychology. I'm also the founder of Women of Purpose Community Interest Company. Women of Purpose is a platform that empowers women to find their own God-given purpose. So at Women of Purpose, we have a primary target audience. She is the African woman whose name we've chosen to call Sophie. Sophie comes in two phases. Phase one is Sophie Silo. She's a single Sophie who is 30 years old. According to the African culture, well, her biological clock is ticking. She needs to marry now. On the other hand, we have Sophie Seasons, and Sophie Seasons is a married woman with a growing family and a career. On this other side of Sophie Seasons, the cultural pressure she's fighting, well, she should forget about going up the career ladder because she needs to look after her home. So this is where Women of Purpose, CIC, comes in. We want to help Sophie Silo and Sophie Season recognize that their purpose is important. And we do that through our Purpose Pathway course, which Sophie can access online anywhere in the world. We also have a relationship, mentorship, and coaching program, which we like to call the Relate Works mentorship and coaching program. And both of these facilities or ways to reach out to Sophie are underpinned by a strong sisterhood community at Women of Purpose. Talking about community, 2 weeks ago in Bournemouth, we had what's called Mask of Worship. Mask of Worship is an event that happens every year where Christians from different churches come together to worship God in music and in song. So at Mask of Worship, we had a wonderful turnout. And this year's Mask of Worship was also linked to a bigger purpose called Mayom Papa. In Zambia, where I come from, Mayom Papa Nainenka Kupapa means, Mum, if you look after me while I'm a baby, when I'm older, I will look after you. And so we have continued to do this fundraiser to help mums and babies in the first 100 days of childbirth. I'm talking about pads, formula, and baby clothes. And so thanks to our sponsors, the BBC and Hope FM, who helped us spread the word that Mask of Worship was happening this year, as well as the Mayom Papa fundraiser. Also thanks to our other sponsors, Pizza Express and Nando's, who gave warm, hearty meals to all our guests at Mask of Worship this year. The other thing that we're so happy to announce is that obviously the Purpose Pathway course is available for Sophie to access online. But I was so glad that BBC and Hope FM also chose to play a new single that I'd written to dedicate to Sophie. And finally, our merchandise at Women of Purpose. Our merchandise is there to remind Sophie, as well as the men in her lives, brother, sister, husband, but more importantly, to remind Sophie that we see her, she's valuable, and her purpose counts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Twila. Thank you. And Twila, we can see the passion in your business there and a really strong mission. Tell us, I know you've registered the business as a community interest company. Tell us a bit more about why that was so important and why you chose that business structure.
Sure, thank you. Choosing to register Women of Purpose as a community interest company was the best fit because everything that we do, as I've explained, is about the community. It's about Sophie and reaching out to her. And I guess it also helps us be able to fundraise and go through with the My Own Papa project for any sponsors out there. And it gives us that right as a CIC to be able to do that. So that was why and our reason behind that.
Fantastic. And I know that you run Women of Purpose alongside your PhD, and you're a mum to a small boy as well, who's here in the audience as well. How do you juggle all of that?
Because I am Sophie. But yes, it's the shortest answer to that. I was once Sophie Silo, got married at 35, been married at 4 years. And as I said, as a Zambian by origin in my culture, I should have been married a lot sooner. But how many of us know some of these things, you don't have control over that. But now, as Sophie seasons, I really understand when women who I work with at Women of Purpose find it difficult to juggle. And I think my answer to that, to myself and the women, is that you always make time for the things that you love and you're passionate about. So that's how I do it.
Thank you so much. And Max, tell us about your business.
Hi, I'm Max, and I just finished my Bachelor of Arts studying graphic arts and specialising in motion design. So now I'm a freelance 3D motion designer. So I help clients better communicate their brand and product to customers by combining realistic 3D renders with engaging and informative motion design to bring their product to life. Through my research, I confirmed that product-oriented businesses have difficulty communicating their product effectively to their customers. This can be through their advertising, website, and social media. The customers struggle to understand the benefits their product have, making them less likely to purchase it. My solution, 3D motion design. 3D motion design has been proven to have a 120% boost in engagement compared to static posts on social media. Not only this, but it's been shown to improve customer understanding by 64%. My motion design specifically targets customer buying decisions and customer understanding to help convert those potential customers into sales for that business. Over the course of the foundership, I've been able to create a business that allows me to work on anything from anywhere. I've repositioned myself to target new clientele, going from motion design studios to targeting product businesses directly. And I've leveraged my network to put me on the books as a freelancer for Bad Berries Studio.
Fantastic, thank you. And Max, you've just graduated as well in graphic arts with a specialisation in motion design. When did you decide that freelancing was the direction that you wanted to go down? And what made you believe that that was a possible route for you?
Well, really, it was towards the end of my degree that I started to think, like, what do I really want to do after graduation? I really enjoyed studying motion design, so I knew I wanted to go into that industry. But I'd always had that itch to start something of my own and make something that was mine. And so I went to one of the Go Freelance talks run by the My Careers team, and they had a panel of freelancers, all from different industries. But it really inspired me to realize that I could go straight into freelancing, straight out of university, and not go the conventional route of working directly for a studio myself.
Great, thank you. And before we say goodbye to these wonderful 4 founders, have you got a final message or ask for the audience? Charisse?
I do. If you work in clinical trials or health research, or maybe you'd just like to know a little bit more about some of our services, please come and find me at the drinks reception, likely with red wine in hand. Otherwise, feel free to add me on LinkedIn or Google Engage Intelligently. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
So if you resonate with the message, the brand's message of the need to constantly evolve through pressure and to become a part of something bigger, that I'd like to invite you by joining the waitlist by going to houseofveins.com and signing up there. Thank you.
And Twila?
If you would like to come and have a chat with me about the work that we do at Women of Purpose, or want to find out more about the crowdfunder or anything at all to do with Sophie, I will be at the reception, so happy to talk to anybody. Thank you.
And Max?
I'd really like to connect with product businesses. So if you like the look of what I do and you know any product businesses, then please reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram at Max McNelly Motion. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, and let's have a final round of applause for our first 4 founders. And welcome onto the stage the next 4. Another 4 founders, again, very different businesses, but equally interesting. So, without further ado, Vladi, tell us about your business.
Hello, my name is Vladi Popova. I'm a 4th-year MORE student, and I'm also the founder of VMP Operations, which is an AI startup focusing on streamlining project delivery for small construction firms using AI-powered solutions. Now, prior to me starting my current university course, I actually completed 2 years of engineering, again at University of Southampton. And during my time studying engineering, I had the privilege to go on internships and placements in companies such as Ramboll, Jacobs, and McAlpine. And I was able to see the true difficulty and complexity of getting a big construction project from design to building. In addition to that, as part of the foundership, I was able to reach out to some of my old colleagues working in those companies. And I also connected with some other firms of various sizes within engineering and architecture, both local to Southampton and located in London and other places in the UK too. And I found that there is a rising of frictions in internal operational management and project management due to the huge tech stack that is needed to actually deliver a construction project. In addition to that, these big companies that I mentioned, such as Ramboll and Jacobs, in the past 2 years since the introduction of AI, have composed their internal innovation teams whose sole purpose is designing digital solutions to help the operations of their internal company to streamline their workload as much as possible. However, smaller firms, maybe less than 10, 15 employees, often don't even have a dedicated in-house tech specialist, and that really puts them at a disadvantage in this race. And that is where VMP Operations comes in. Our purpose is that we offer AI training for small teams. We offer AI consulting, helping firms adopt quick, actionable AI tools to really optimize their current tech stack. And most importantly, our highest tier of service that we offer is we offer custom AI-integrated digital solutions that really target specific individual problems that a firm may have in order to streamline and optimize their workload as much as possible and make sure the business runs smoothly. Now, all of these services lead to us being able to save firms up to 2 hours per employee per week that will otherwise be sent on admin tasks that can now be refocused on revenue-generating tasks. This results in boosting revenue and also facilitating business growth much faster. Now, some key highlights of my time in the foundership is the main thing, as mentioned, is I was able to grow a huge professional network of engineers and architects and other people within my industry, a lot of which have turned into potential clients. I was also able to create some off-the-shelf digital solutions that will be rolling out on my website. I was able to work on a product for Charisse, one of our other founders on the foundership, creating an AI-integrated digital tool that will help in the creation of her database. I also led my first successful AI training workshop and have several more scheduled in the next coming weeks with local architecture and engineering firms here in Southampton. And something very exciting that I would love to share with you is I have my first AI webinar coming up next month that I would love to share more information with you guys later on. And again, something really important to know is that I had the opportunity to work with a wonderful cohort that I wouldn't have otherwise had the opportunity to. And I've really found the value in feedback and reflections from people outside of your industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Vladi. And Vladi, you're in the 4th year, master's year of your course, and you got involved with Student Enterprise a few years ago. Tell us about that first interaction that you had and how you've been involved with Student Enterprise across the years and why the foundership was so important for you to get on.
So I actually found out about the Student Enterprise and the foundership 2 years ago when I was sitting in the audience, such as yourselves. And I was so inspired by hearing from the founders that year. And I've always been somebody that has really wanted to start a business. And this idea sort of just started very, very slowly growing. Me attending all these events and being able to form these connections with the team have also guided me and have been a huge aid in the development of taking this from an idea to a business.
Great, thank you very much. And if anybody is interested, there is details on our website about Foundership 2026 as well, and you can register your interest. So fantastic. And Iromio, tell us about your business.
Hello, everyone. Now, I must admit, it's the most amount of people I've spoken to, so bear with me. So my name is Iromio Quintus. I'm a final year chemical engineering student, and I am the founder of Branded Barbers, helping barbers elevate beyond the chair. Now, funny enough, I do have a couple friends that are barbers, and one of them, I'm not going to say who, just in case he's listening. I'm not sure how hygienic this is either, but every time we'd ask him to come outside, he'd always wear the same clothes that he'd be cutting hair in all day. Now, he does work hard. He works over 60 hours every week, non-stop in one of the busiest stores in London. So it quite struck with me when he said this, and I quote, "I can't come out this week." Why not? If I take a weekend off, I lose customers, I lose income, I lose revenue, and I simply can't afford that. That hit me. These barbers work so hard building trust, community, and they have to deliver every single day. But they're stuck in this loop, the loop in which their income is restricted to how many hours they spend behind the chairs, how many haircuts they could possibly fit in a day. That's not passive, scalable, or even predictable income. And now let's be honest. We all know how many barbershops there are around us. There's one every corner. So basically, they're fighting off price and reputation alone. This is why I started Branded Barber. Branded Barber is a white label solution specifically tailored towards barbers. Now, for those of you who don't know what white labeling is, like my mum, white labeling is when we sell our product, we create the product, and the barber will sell it off branded as their own. We help barbers elevate. That includes everything from making their custom hair products all the way through to marketing support and social media to enhance their digital presence. We handle marketing, design, packaging, everything, just so barbers can focus on what they do best. Now let's talk about some of the highlights over the foundership. We finalized testing and sampling. We even signed a first deal. We sold over 200 units and produced £1,000 in turnover just off this deal alone. We signed on a local retainer in Southampton. We also gained PR attention through local press and social media. We are Branded Barber, helping barbers elevate beyond the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Iromio. Now, I know that Branded Barber is not your only side hustle alongside your chemical engineering degree. Tell us a bit more about your other business opportunities.
Yeah, I'm going to sound so arrogant, but I've got big dreams and I've always set like a high standard for myself. So I've started everything from Amazon FBA all the way to trading. I've currently found success in investing. So come and speak to me after if you're interested in that. But doing business and doing all these side things, it just really tells you a lot about yourself. And I found I'm really passionate about business in general. So yeah, I guess that answers your question.
And on the foundership over the summer, working with the team and working on Branded Barber, what are some of the things that you did learn about yourself?
You will make mistakes along the way. And mistakes are the best things that can happen to you. You learn so much from it. Honestly, I came onto the foundership scheme, wanted to start 2 businesses, and Branded Barber originally was my personal line. But I learned through these mentors that they've taught me so much that these mistakes have shaped me, and I can see myself going a long way just because of this scheme.
Fantastic, thank you. Great, and Helena, let's hear from you about your business.
Hi, I'm Helena. I've just completed my Master's in Genomics, and I'm the founder of Untangled, a calm, thoughtful, and inclusive way to manage tasks. So when I started my Master's, I was working 2 jobs as well, and I quickly learned that the tools I used to use to organize myself no longer worked. I became overwhelmed, and I struggled with task paralysis. This drove me to create Untangled, a kinder way to get stuff done. The products I've designed help to reduce overwhelm, rebuild mental clarity, and turn chaos into small, actionable steps forwards. Untangled is built on evidence, expert insights, and my own neurodivergent lived experience, and is designed to work for everyone. Over the foundership, I've developed my first products, which are available to purchase today. I've launched my website, and I've built a brand that I'm proud of, which encourages people to be kinder to their brains while still making progress towards what matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Helena. And I know that you've been looking at doing something entrepreneurial in this area for a while now. And you joined the Foundership Scheme and explored a number of different ideas. And tell us about what made you go all in with this particular product line and make that investment to fund that initial product run and go all in.
Yeah, so I started a venture with a co-founder a little over a year ago now. And we went quite far with it and we thought it would work, but I realized that it didn't sit quite right with me. And so I stripped away everything, every assumption that I had, and I really looked at what the problem that I was experiencing was. And I built from there, and that's how Untangled was born. I needed to create something that was authentic to me so that I could be authentic for everyone else.
Thank you so much. Beautiful products available afterwards. Thank you. And Joe, tell us about your business.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Rickman, and I've just graduated from a master's degree in mechanical engineering, where I then specialized in mechatronics. And for the last few years, I've been using the knowledge from my degree to design and build bespoke custom drones, which I then go and fly to create unique and engaging videos for brands to use on their social media. But standing out on social media is quite a challenge. Generally, users look at a video for about 2 seconds before they skip to the next one. So capturing the audience's attention in those 2 seconds is critical. Drones offer a potential solution to this because they can move the camera in a different way or capture an angle that you're not necessarily used to seeing from a traditional ground camera. But by creating a custom drone, I can take this one step further by filming in more unconventional environments. Whether that's filming in and amongst water with fully waterproof electronics, or flying in the pitch black because I've mounted lights to the drone, or whether I'm flying in and amongst people with ultra lightweight drones, it doesn't really matter, but the outcome can be really, really unique. And it's this combination of the technical experience and the filming knowledge that brands really love, but they know that they're getting the guarantee. Because I've built the drone, if anything happens to go wrong with it on the shoot, then they know that I can probably fix it and they'll still get the shot that they've paid for. This isn't something you can guarantee will happen if you've just bought a drone and turned up on the shoot. And so it's this combination of the technical and the filming that brands love. But honestly, more importantly, I absolutely love it. I picked out the one client that I wanted to work with at the start of the foundership. I went and made a video for them. They put it on their social media, and it's done 220,000 views. I was the sole drone engineer for the WWE, working with Netflix all around Europe. And off the back of that, I created a solution for keeping the drone powered while we changed the batteries. And all of this has culminated in me landing a new job where I'm now working full-time doing exactly what I've just explained for a company where I get to fly all around the world and create some awesome videos for some really, really cool brands.
Thanks very much, Joe. And you told us about your client, Forest Holidays, and creating a video for them and getting it up on their social media. Tell us how that came about. How did you make that happen?
Yeah, so I went and filmed a video for them that I wanted to show them, but I thought, okay, I do a lot of being unique and engaging, but how am I going to bring that across? And we thought lots of companies get hundreds of emails asking for people to make content for them. And I thought, how can I be unique and a bit more engaging? I spoke with the team and with my founders, and we thought, okay, we'll send a voice note on Instagram. I planned what I thought I might say. I hit record, just spoke to my phone, hit send, and literally within a couple of hours, I had a reply in a voice note from the head of the marketing department saying they absolutely loved the video, they found the voice note really interesting, and then obviously clicked the video, found the video interesting, and it just spiraled from there.
Great. And you said you landed your dream job while exploring your business on the foundership. So tell us a bit more about how that came about and how starting your own business, how being on the foundership helped you land that job, keep that job, and from what evidence shows, absolutely nailing it.
Thank you. So I originally applied for the job at the same time I applied for the foundership. And originally, the company was looking for a full-time employee. So I wasn't even really considering applying. But I spoke to some of the people here and to friends and family, and they said I should apply anyway. And actually, they ended up offering me part-time on the foundership and part-time on the job because they valued the experience that I was going to get from trying to start and lead my own company so much that they were happy to wait for me until I'd finished to become full-time. And honestly, I did my degree and I completed it. But I think I now run the company with this other guy, and I don't think had I gone straight from university, I'd have the skills or the knowledge to be able to do that. All of the entrepreneurial stuff that I've learned on this course has been really important for me to now continue doing that job moving forwards.
Great. Thank you so much, Joe. And before I let these lovely four founders off the stage, any final messages or asks from the audience? Vladdy?
So if you are involved in engineering or architecture or within the construction sector, or you're just interested in AI and programming, please either come speak to me at the reception later, and please connect with me on LinkedIn too.
Thank you. And Romeo.
If you guys have any close connections to any barbers, or if you're really passionate about business, please come and find me after in the reception, or just search me up online. Trust me, I love talking.
Thank you. And Helena.
My products are available to purchase today. Come and have a look at them and have a chat with me, and also check out my website. Thank you.
And Joe.
So if you're interested in filming or drones or creating videos, then I've brought some of the drones with me. You can come and have a chat in the reception. Or if you just want to follow my content, then I post a lot on social media under Joe R. Rickman.
Fantastic. Final round of applause for the wonderful Foundership Cohort 2025. And I'm delighted to welcome to the stage our Foundership alumni. Samuel Aaron, Jamie Horsnell, and Till Jordan. invite some of the foundership alumni. We've got Sam and Jamie, who were on the cohort last year. I had the pleasure of working closely with them. And it's been amazing to see their growth over the last year. Not only have they finished their undergraduate degree alongside running their business full time, but lots of other amazing stuff over the last year, and excited to hear about their journey. So over to you guys.
Thank you, Sarah. And well done to all the 8 founders. You did an incredible job, really, really good. Jamie and I were in those shoes last year with MyTender.io, and yeah, it's not an easy program to go through, very intensive. So hello everyone, my name's Sam, this is my co-founder Jamie, and we're 2 of the co-founders at MyTender.io, which is the highest funded undergraduate business in the history of Southampton University. And thank you. And we were on the program, the foundership scheme last year, trying to get our business off the ground. And today I'll tell you a little bit about where we're at now. So MyTender helps businesses win more bids and tenders in a significantly shorter amount of time. And for those of you that aren't aware what bids and tenders are, it's a very, very historic process. In fact, the first formal tender process was back in 2800 BC in Syria, where the bid was actually submitted via a red clay tablet to the government at that time. And essentially, it's a long proposal that takes businesses weeks and weeks to develop, and it says to a local government or a central government or a large organization why they believe their business is the best to carry out a specific service. So since its inception in 2800 BC, the process has seen practically zero innovation. And it's not just a small problem, like let's say a handful of businesses in Southampton have to produce these proposals. It's 25% of businesses globally, which works out an estimated figure of over 100 million businesses are writing bids every single year.
So, as Sam mentioned, it's a super big issue, and how do we solve it? Unsurprisingly, it's with AI. Essentially, what we do is we take businesses' old bidding content and use sophisticated AI technology to turn that into highly compelling, bespoke, first draft bid responses that secures our clients' revenue. In the past 15 months or so that we've essentially been operating in the market, we have acquired 26 customers, generating £350,000 in annual revenue, and also, as Sam mentioned, got some pre-seed investment from Fuel Ventures. But the more exciting and important part is the future. Over the next 12 months, we look to scale to £1 million in annual recurring revenue, do another slightly larger round of investment, and essentially take over the world with what we believe is the greatest bid writing AI products on the market, most simple to use, the most high quality, and yeah.
So I just wanted to share with you a quote from a business that was sent to us literally yesterday. And I won't read the full thing out to you, but essentially a few minds were blown with the product that we've been developing over the last 2 years, which pretty much started off as Jamie and myself as friends at university thinking, you know, what cool things could we do for businesses, which turned out, unfortunately, to be in the realm of bid writing. But it does show, with the support of the student enterprise and the university and the people around students in Southampton, the ability we have to impact the world and make real difference, not just sort of conceptual business ideas. And a little bit about our story. So we were on the foundership, like the 8 businesses today. Last year, we were struggling to sort of work through a whole range of things. And we've been engaged with the student enterprise a significant number of times. They've provided funding to us, which pretty much made it possible for us to be able to run the business. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to pay any bills. And they've given us advice and a load of support as we've gone. But specifically on the foundership last year, we were generating how much, Jamie? Like 2,000.
Yeah, 2 or 3K a month, I think.
Yeah, so we started with like 2,000 or 3,000 a month, and like recently this week we've just surpassed like 25,000 a month. So it shows like what the support of the uni in the early days can provide to businesses like Jamie and myself.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sam and Jamie. And before we move over to Till, what would your one piece of advice, maybe you've each got a different one, maybe it's the same one, for any budding entrepreneurs sitting out there in the audience tonight?
If I was to give one piece of advice, I suppose it's a little bit cliche, but just get involved. Like anything that you can, any sort of passion that you have for starting something of your own. It is so easy from the student enterprise to basically get something up and running, get something going, and most importantly, get like the enthusiasm for it. That's like the main thing which I'd say I got from that very first small business speed launch that me and Sam went to, was just the ambition and excitement that you actually really could make a business that could change the world. And I also think for students, especially these days, like, more and more people have got degrees and employers are looking out for what extra skills that you can sort of offer them. And I think that entrepreneurship and showing that you have the agency to go out there and do something by yourself is something which they would value quite a lot. So there's no sort of downsides to it. I would just say go and give it a go.
Great. Thank you very much. And Till was on the foundership a few years earlier than these guys. I wasn't around then, but and I believe he was there with a different business even to what he's going to share today. But he's very much been involved in the student enterprise ecosystem, not only with our team, but also the wider ecosystem in the university. So I'll let him tell his story.
Thank you, Sarah. I was actually on the first kind of founder showcase quite a few years ago. So I'm going to try to kind of tell my journey like 6 years in like 5 minutes. But essentially, I'm co-founder of a company called Blocktopus. So just to kind of tell you what we do, we believe that AI is going to eventually write pretty much all software. But one key issue with that is that how do we actually know that the code is working? In blockchain, that's even more harder because in blockchain, there's financial applications, which means even like a small issue could result in millions of losses. So at Blocktopus, we have developed a very realistic simulation and testing layer that basically allows AI agents to produce much better applications that are more secure and also much faster. So kind of going back maybe a little bit to the journey. Sorry, actually, one more thing. So at the beginning of this year, we closed our seed round at a 10 million valuation. We now have kind of multiple millions of revenue in our pipeline and preparing for the next round. But now kind of going back to the start, because it definitely wasn't kind of like a straight line. As Sarah said, there was another company I was doing before, actually 2 other companies. So definitely not a straight line. So I started in Southampton in 2019. And before I started, I had this idea for a device that could detect whether tap water is drinkable or not. And kind of a few months into uni, into Southampton, I met a few like-minded people, and we joined this hackathon like 2 months in. And as you can see, we were not very energetic, kind of filming our demo at like 2 a.m. in our Wessex Lane kitchen. But somehow we managed to win this hackathon, and that kind of gave us the idea to start a company. And before I came to uni, I had never really considered starting a business, but there was so much support around student enterprise, Future Worlds. Everyone was talking about it that like we thought we'd give it a go. So kind of same as these guys, we got funding, we got access to chemistry labs, 3D printers, everything we needed. So we were able to build quite a few versions of the device over the year. Got some good results, won some prizes, but then COVID started. And with COVID, we weren't able to use any chemistry labs anymore, weren't able to get the chemicals to actually do the development and testing. And also at that point, I kind of realized that my passion was more in software development. Like I was able to do that from anywhere, even from home, being locked in COVID, and then actually get it to people to immediately use it rather than like a hardware product that was going to take ages to actually get to market. So we came up with an idea to apply cookie preferences automatically on websites. So it was this tool here on the left where basically like put in your preference and then it was automatically going to apply it on websites. And again, we got a lot of support. I was with the other company I was on the foundership scheme, actually again with this company as well. You can see still social distancing for that. And that was actually going really well. We had learned a lot from that first company, got a lot of users, even considered dropping out of our degrees and kind of going full time into that. But one key issue was that we weren't making any money, right? We were not kind of able to pay any of our bills with that. And it was kind of then going into our final year of university where we realized, okay, it's probably the better choice to finish our degrees and focus a bit less on this company because we just didn't know really how to make money from it. So at the same time then, because I focused more on uni through my third year project in computer science, I saw an opportunity basically in the blockchain space and convinced my supervisor and a few academics to basically create a new company that I then founded immediately after I graduated. And even though I was an alumni, there was still so much support around the university from funding. That's when I went to San Francisco the first time with Future Worlds, and that kind of opened my mind to a lot more opportunities. I think we learned a lot from these first two companies. So with Blocktopus, we then kind of got paying customers very early on. We were able to fund a lot of the stuff. But about a year in as well, we had like two major issues, which was like, it was basically just me full-time in the company, and also we were running out of money again, right? So we had like £50 left in the bank account, but multiple £100 of like operational costs. So that was probably the lowest point in the journey. Like it was almost like, okay, this is the third company, it's not going to work. But we somehow managed to pull through, loaned a little bit of money to the company, then got more paying customers, and eventually I found a new co-founder who was able to join pretty much immediately full-time. And then from there, we got accepted to the biggest startup accelerator in the world who invested straight away. And at least those financial issues were solved for a while. Of course, there were still quite a few ups and downs, but I think the main thing that we learned there was just like really focusing on the wins that we're getting, even if they're quite small, even like finishing a small feature on a product or winning a hackathon or getting investment, of course. So coming back kind of to the start of my presentation where I was saying that AI will eventually write all software, I would take it a bit further and say that actually I think AI is going to be able to do pretty much any task. But I think that means that human creativity and adaptability is going to be the most important thing. And I think there's no better way to like get better at those things than entrepreneurship and starting your own company. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Till. A great example of how success is not linear, and I'm sure there's still many more lessons learned to come. And I guess you've talked a little bit about your lessons learned through that journey, but I guess the same question to you, for anybody sitting out there thinking about getting started, what would be your top piece of advice to them?
Yeah, I think it's never too early to start. Like, for me, it was very important to make those mistakes very early, and it was good to make them while I was still studying and not like really relying on the business to pay my bills. And then I think the other thing is like really just learn as much as possible. Like you need to adapt. The world is crazy. There's so much happening. You need to really try to keep up to it, like learn as much as you can and adapt as the world moves.
Thank you so much, Jamie, Sam, and Till. Who will leave the stage now. A last final round of applause. Thank you very much. And I'm delighted to next up welcome to the stage, back to the stage, Thomas Simmons, who's going to be joined by the brilliant Jim Cregan, who is our keynote speaker this evening and founder of the brand Jimmy's Iced Coffee. Big round of applause.
Here we go. Jim, thank you so much for coming here. I've been a big fan for a long time, so let's start. We've got so many students here. We've got colleagues, we've got members of our network, we've got friends of our ecosystem. So let's start at the beginning. So take us back to kind of where it all began, where you discovered iced coffee for the first time. You know, what gave you the spark or the confidence to kind of go, do you know what, I'm gonna do something in this space?
So it's quite I mean, it could be a 4-month conversation, to be honest. But to wrap it up fairly quickly, I was born and raised in Dubai. I lived there for 18 years, and the sun shines every day, which is the most amazing thing. And then I came back to England and was confronted by clouds and rain, and was really quite disappointed by that. Went to university. I did an event production degree. And when we finished, I went on the road with Red Bull. I was a student brand manager with them for a little while. And started working at music festivals and things like that, which was pretty fun. And then the winter came along and the weather got really bad, and I became a labourer. So I was basically just humping bricks around, digging holes and painting wood. And it was incredibly boring. And I did that for about 3 or 4 kind of seasons back to back, until one day when I was working on the festival circuit, someone said to me, Jim, rather than building these bars and stages, I think you need to get on the stage because you're actually quite fun. So I was like, oh, well, thanks very much. So they started getting me to introduce all these bands and acts. So I was doing all these things in very, very random costumes. One of my kind of favorites was a mermaid costume, which you can imagine when your legs are stuck together, it takes about half an hour to walk out from the side with a microphone to introduce people. So that was my life. I was this kind of part-time mermaid, and then in the winter I was just digging holes and building beach huts and stuff. So I kind of just cracked one day. I was working on a building site with this old dude, and does everyone know what a builder's bum is? For those who don't know, it's where you see the crack of your bottom hanging out the top of your jeans. And I was working with this dude, and I basically saw a lunar eclipse, is what I saw. I was just suddenly furious with myself, and I actually slow clapped my existence. I was 27, and I was just like, Cregan, bravo! Like, you're staring at an old guy's bum. You get paid £50 a day. You're a part-time mermaid in the summer, and your life is going down the pan. So you're gonna need to sort yourself out. So I drove home, and I screamed at myself in my van. And I got home, and my girlfriend, who's now my wife and mum to my 3 rad kids, was like, Jim, are you all right? And I was like, no, I'm not all right. We need to get out of here. It's raining, it's cold, I'm a mermaid. I'm sure your parents are really proud of you for going out with me, and we need to get out of here. So we bought one-way tickets to Australia, and I mean, pure escapism. I was just like, we've got to get out of here. We got to Oz, and we bought a 4x4, and we ripped the back out, all the seats out, and we built a bed, and we basically just lived in this 4x4 for about 5 months. And it was amazing because we got to meet loads of cool people. We worked in surf schools, we did loads of driving, and we drank loads of this horrific white wine called Goon. It comes in a box and it gives you the worst hangovers. And I had one of the worst hangovers of my life one day, and I'm driving down this long road, and I was like, I'm really, really thirsty. And I had this kind of thing where I was like, I just have this, and they call it on LinkedIn, they call it a consumer need state, which is just a load of rubbish. It's just what you need at the particular time. And I go into this petrol station. I was like, right, I'm thirsty. I'm like really, really thirsty. That's my consumer need state. And I went in and I was like, right, I don't want an energy drink. I don't want water because it's boring. I don't want a cup of tea or a hot coffee because that's just, it's too hot outside. And I found this product called Farmers Union Iced Coffee, which is iced coffee, which is this like ready-to-drink iced coffee in a old-school milk carton that you have to open up, where you peel the cardboard back and then pull it forward. And I looked at it and I was like, that just looks insanely cool in temperature as well. And so I took it outside, I guzzled this thing, and something just clicked in my brain. I was like, okay, this is it. This is the coolest thing I've ever had in my life. I'm going to drink this for the rest of my existence. And sadly, we had to come home due to a death in the wider friendship group. And so my wife came home, and I said, why don't you come back out after the funeral? And she said, no, I want to stay in the UK. So I had to come back to the UK. And I get a phone call from someone saying, hey, Jim, it's mermaid time. And I was like, no, it's not mermaid time again. I can't do that. And then I get a phone call saying, there's a couple of holes that need digging. Do you want to have a go? And I was like, do you know what? I don't think I can do this anymore. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to have a little look in the supermarkets and see what's on the shelf for iced coffee, just to go and get my iced coffee fix. And I went into Sainsbury's and realized that there was tons of iced coffee. It existed the entire time. I just never noticed it because it's so boring. And I was like, right, I reckon this is true Dragon's Den kind of chat. I genuinely thought there was a gap in the market to create an iced coffee drink for me. Being incredibly selfish. So there was kind of two reasons for starting Jimmy's, which was to A, have a drink that I could have, but then also B, not dress up as a mermaid, not dig holes, and actually earn money from doing something that I actually quite enjoyed. So that was kind of like the inspiration for starting. And then from there, my sister ran a coffee shop in Christchurch. That's where we live, over that way. She had this coffee shop, and there were 27 other places on the high street where you get a coffee. So she's printing off her Z reading on the till at the end of the day, and she's made like a penny after smashing out 60,000 paninis, 400 smoothies, and 6 billion coffees. So I said, look, come on to business with me, and we're going to make ready-to-drink iced coffee. And it was just a case of picking up the phone. We didn't bother emailing people because emailing is just so boring. You end up at the bottom of an email pile. So we found every phone number that we could call, and we just put in loads of requests and loads of questions and bits and pieces to people. And we managed to launch the product so we formed Jimmy's Limited in November 2010. 4 months later, we had kind of had our brand designed. We'd found someone to make the product, kind of like a white label thing that we were talking about earlier. So we made the product, and we launched into Selfridges on April the 7th, 2011. And then from there, it carried on.
That's amazing. So it'd be interesting to know at what point kind of, we talked about like going all in, when you kind of decided, right, let's do this, and with your sister Susie, and we're going to do this. Was it just, right, I'm all in on this? Or was there an element of kind of, I need to de-risk this a bit? Like, what was that kind of journey for you?
It was, I tell you, it was the moment that I drank that product, I was like, this is totally changed my life. Without kind of knowing it, there was something about that moment, and I will never ever forget. You won't ever remember any petrol station experience of drinking a product, but this particular one absolutely blew my mind. I don't know if you've seen the movie Babe, the pig movie, but there's an amazing line in it where Farmer Hoggett says, the narrator says, Farmer Hoggett knew that little things that tickled and nagged, little ideas that tickle and nag and refuse to go away should never be ignored, for in them lie the seeds of destiny. And that, for me, that line, I heard it on holiday ages ago, and I was like, wow, a pig movie is telling me about my own destiny. And it was about that little idea that tickled and nagged and refused to go away that made me just go, this is literally it.
Oh, that's really interesting. And you talked about Selfridges as well there. So was that the first kind of, the big change maker for your journey? And how did that even come about? How did you get, I know so many students here were like, how do you actually get into something like that?
It is hard, but you just have to go for it, and it's about putting phone calls in and not emailing. So I remember I went on Google Maps, found Selfridges' number, called them, and they're like, "Good morning, Selfridges." I was like, "Hi, my name's Jim. I'm a part-time mermaid from Bournemouth. I went to Australia. I found amazing iced coffee. I've come home. I've made my own and want to sell it in your fridge." And she was like, "Please hold." And I was like, "Okay, well, she hasn't hung up on me. This is good." Spoke to a buyer, and the lady was like, "Do you have a presentation?" And I was like, "Yes, I'll come over tomorrow." And she's like, "Brilliant." So we went over, and we only had like test cartons at the time, but with real liquid in there. And those cartons that we had they were hand stuck labels, which took us 25 hours in a walk-in fridge to do. And we just presented. I told my whole story, and I just said, "You don't have anything like this in your kind of food and drink bay." And she said, well, look, when do you want to launch? And I was like, when do you want to launch? And she's like, I don't have enough time for these questions. Like, are you ready to go? And I was like, I don't have a barcode. Is there a barcode shop on Oxford Street? And she's like, you really are like at the beginning of this business journey. And when we delivered our first pallet of stock in, or our first kind of shipment, the product had to be chilled the entire time. So from manufacturing into a massive refrigerated kind of warehouse. And then whenever it was transported, it had to be in a fridge van and then get put in the fridge back of the store. So me and my sister turn up to the loading bay in flip-flops and T-shirts and shorts, and you have to wear like steel toe cap boots, and you have to have high vis, and you have to have your delivery notes. And the guy's like, who are you? And we're like, we're Jimmy's, we're launching tomorrow. And they're like, okay, cool, what have you got in there? I'm like, we got iced coffee. And he's like, does that not need to be refrigerated? And I was like, yeah, probably, but it's only been in the van for a couple of hours. I'm sure it'll be fine. And he's like, does it have milk in it? And I said, yeah, it's got milk. And he's like, okay, I need to test the temperature of this. And I was like, how are you going to do that? Are you just going to take the top off and dip your finger in and go, yeah, that's cold enough? And he's like, no, my friend, I've got an infrared thermometer. Pulls out this thermometer and he says, if this is over 8 degrees, I can't accept it, despite the fact you've got this launch tomorrow. And he shined it at this box, and I basically nearly died, but it came up at 7.8 degrees. So we had 0.2 of a degree to get it off the van and into their back fridge. And then, yeah, and that was the kind of start of us just pushing it as hard as we could.
And from that start, like, how was it a long journey? Or was it slow in terms of like building that up in terms of your kind of national distribution, your different outlets? Like, how did it kind of grow from there? That'd be interesting to know.
So if you rewind a tiny bit, we decided to go into Selfridges because if you imagine like a triangle of like the top one being the best one and then the bottom one being the one with the most kind of stores. So something like an Asda would be the last place we'd want to launch our first product in. Selfridges was the best. And then underneath that, you've got all of the other amazing places in London like Whole Foods and Planet Organic and all these other places. So what I did was I went to all of the different stores in London that I liked. I managed to sell the product in, hand-delivered the product in until we got a decent rate of sale, which is how many units per store per week you sell in that particular place. And so I took that data then to a wholesaler who could then actually just buy us in bulk, and then they go and do all the deliveries. And then to also get into the rest of their customers, you'd jump in a van with their delivery driver at like 5 in the morning. So you drive from Bournemouth at 2, get there at 5. They load up all their stuff, and then you go in their van and you drop off to every shop that they're delivering to, and you have to give your spiel to the general manager of that store before they get back in the van because you don't want to cause any hassle. So it's kind of a case of doing that to start with, and then we thought within retail we wanted to go into Waitrose first, and then everyone else after that was just, let's just try and get them as quickly as we can with the resource that we've got, because it's interesting. People go, oh, you got into Tesco. We want to get into Tesco. And you say, well, how many stores do you want? They say, oh, we want all 4,000 of them. And you're like, well, how are you going to manage 4,000 stores? You want to say to these guys, look, we want to be really strategic about how we want to launch with you. We only want 100 stores, and it'd be great if we could have them just around that part of London, because that means we can go into the store, we can make sure it's there, we can sample product around there, we know the audience is good there, the footfall is high, all of those different things. And it's amazing with so many businesses, the scalability these days is just, particularly with tech, it's endless. Whereas if you were, back in the old days, you're like, well, I'm going to start a sandwich shop and I've got these 4 walls and I can do 150 sandwiches a day, and then I'm tired and I go home to bed and I get up the next morning and do the same thing again. But now what's available to us is actually really, really daunting and can be incredibly stressful, because you just think, well, how far could I take this? So it's about those kind of like bite-sized chunks of being able to get stuff done properly.
Okay, so you got into Selfridges, you build up your brand, you're in all these different outlets, distribution. Kind of at what point then, leading on to kind of at what point did you or did you not kind of bring on other kind of senior execs or other people as you're growing? Like you say, how do you manage all this stuff? Or kind of, obviously you've exited the business now. So kind of when did that like decision come to be like, we could sell this? Or was that always kind of a plan throughout, like that kind of top of the end game kind of thing?
I didn't know about, scalability. It wasn't even a word in my vocabulary. Mergers and acquisitions, I didn't have a clue about. It was a case of I'm so thirsty to create my own iced coffee company, and then I can drink my own product. That's great. And then a few years later, someone goes, you could sell this to someone like a big company. And you're like, oh yeah, actually that's quite a good point. This could be quite interesting. And then you meet people along the way who tell you that what kind of milestones would you have to hit in order to be attractive to someone like a big company. So we were just beavering away, just doing our stuff, and then kind of in the background, we were trying to look at what size did we need to be. We realized we had to be at about 10 million turnover. And when that first point in the question you're asking about hiring in like the senior staff and stuff. So when we left, our MD was our second real first proper employee, because we had a guy called Steve who was our spreadsheet guy. He was called AutoSum. He's like a dinosaur. He was amazing. But our first hire was a dude called Luke. He was just a receipt cruncher and then turned into MD. So he'd been with the company the whole time. And we made lots of great hires, lots of bad hires, but that's just standard business. But then when it came round to the sale, we actually got some interest from one of our competitors. Put a call in and said, I hear you're for sale. And I was like, no, who told you that? And she's like, well, do you want to be bought? And I was like, well, I don't really know. What are you saying? And she was like, well, let me pass you on to someone who can talk to you properly. But we ended up basically chatting to one of our, the M&A firm that we worked with, this mergers and acquisitions firm. And we said, look, we've been approached. And they said, well, look, you're kind of in the right position now. And going back to the senior leadership team, we by the time we got to about year 10 of the business, we sold after 12 years. After year 10, myself and my sister kind of made ourselves quite redundant because everyone else was in place doing their stuff. And that was great because it gave us a load of free time. And we also just felt like we'd learned everything we'd needed to learn. We'd met all the great people we'd wanted to meet, and we'd just done everything that we needed to do. So by the time it did come around to sell, we were like, actually, do we feel ready to do this? And it did actually feel like the right time to go. So we did this teaser document, but then also sent that out to a whole bunch of other potential buyers. And then it just kind of got whittled down. And the whole process from the first phone call of we're interested in buying you to actually signing the last piece of paperwork was probably about 16 months, something like that. And it was July the 26th, 2023, so just over 2 years ago. We got a phone call from our lawyers saying, you need to get together because we're about to sign our last thing and you need to be there so you can crack a beer. And we went to AutoSum's girlfriend's bar, and we got a phone call saying it's done. And my wife was there. It was my boy's birthday, and we just bought a massive round of drinks for the entire evening. And then we got paid about a week later, which was also very, very surreal. But yeah, it was a mega journey, and I look back on it so fondly, and I have some terrifying stories as well, which I don't necessarily want to go into, but I might have to. No, but it was awesome. We had a great time.
Oh, that's amazing. And I want to take you back to something you said to me before, which is like the ingredients of your product. So you talked about obviously the product itself. It's got to be, people want to drink it, right? And you talked a lot about the packaging being really kind of fundamental, and the brand, obviously, as we've discussed ourselves. So I'd love to hear your take of why those things are so important in your journey.
Yeah, 3 is the magic number, de la Soul, right? It's like it's I don't know about you guys, but if you see something like particularly within food and drink that just looks right, it's like glass bottle Coke. I don't like plastic bottle Coke. I think it tastes different. Glass bottle Coke for me is like, wow, it's so iconic. It just looks amazing. And when we first launched Jimmy's, we were in a traditional milk carton, and it just looked great. The branding looked fantastic, and the ingredients were simple and refreshing and beautiful. And then we actually launched into a Tetra Pak carton, which saved us because it allowed us to be room temperature stable, and it gave us a 9-month shelf life versus 6 weeks. And we used to have tons of wastage, and supermarkets don't like that when you're small and no one's buying you, and you have all that wastage. And it was just niggling me that was the one of the 3 things that wasn't working. We had the branding, we had the ingredients, but the packaging just wasn't quite right. And then Luke, who was our MD, he was also our ops director, and he'd been to Hong Kong on holiday, and he brought back this aluminium bottle can, which these bad boys. And he bought back one of these, but it had Costa written on it, and they were selling it on Hong Kong. And I was like, look at that bottle. I don't know about you, but I just get really excited by that. It's a 38 mil diameter neck, so you can really chug it. Yeah, it's big time. This is cool. So I basically got an original, the blue one, and I poured it into this Costa thing, and I just scribbled a little piece of paper and put it on the can, in this bottle can, put it in the fridge, and then walked up to it like, hey, I'm going to try this for the first time. And tried it and was like, oh my, whoa. Everyone stop. We're going into this as soon as we possibly can. And Luke was like, you've got to be mad. This is going to be so much work. I was like, and that's why it's going to work. This is going to be brilliant. I don't know if you've seen The Matrix when he says guns, lots of guns. And they said, no one's ever done this before. And he said, that's why it's going to work. It's basically just a boring version of that. And we did. And we were being questioned by our retailers like, yeah, you're great, but you're really expensive. And there's loads of other people in Tetra Pak and they're doing iced coffee and they're £1 cheaper. And they're like, why? And you're like, well, I don't really know anymore because this is just getting quite pickly. But we got into this and everyone else said, oh, we can't do that because it's too hard. And we're like, yes, that's why. If you work a little bit harder, you get the rewards. And one of the most amazing things about this was going into somewhere like M&S where we were listed. You can't price promote in M&S or do anything. You just have to put the product on the shelf and it's there full time. And our sales basically like doubled within about 2 weeks of putting that on the shelf because it just made people go, ooh, and they just have, as soon as they see it, they take it, they look at it, and the chances are by the time they got it in their hand, it goes in their basket and rock and roll, you've got a sale, which is amazing. So just getting that like refined thing that you're incredibly proud of is amazing. But you do have to start somewhere. You can't just wait for the absolute perfect thing because it's already gone. There's something else will come along. So it's about just getting started and just be happy with, like 80% is banging, and then you'll refine the 20, and maybe something new is going to come along later on down the line.
And so along that journey of obviously that you say that was very hard, and sometimes we actually talk about doing something hard is quite good because it's quite a defensible thing to do, right? Not many other people can do it. So along your journey, there's bound to be some challenges. We talked about the kind of ups and downs. It's not linear kind of journey. Kind of what were those kind of personal challenges for you, and kind of how did you kind of look after yourself and overcome them, throughout?
I mean, personally, I was every single school report that I got when I was a kid was Jim is the most enthusiastic human ever. He'd be like 1 and 1 is 4, and that's it. It might be wrong, but the conviction and the enthusiasm is there, and that's been me from day one. The intelligence might not be there, but the emotion and the passion and the drive. I can get lots of people out of bed to go. Let's go and do something fun. So that was kind of the best way of how I managed just to run the company from the very beginning, until one day I was meant to be going out for dinner, and I remember just sitting on the end of the bed, and this is after about 7 years, and I basically just had this like huge wave of anxiety come over me, and my wife came in and she's like, right, shoes on, we're going to go for dinner, and I couldn't even speak, and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, this is the second time I've whinged at her. Maybe more than that. And I was like, no, I can't go out tonight. And she knew something was really up. And I ended up having to take about 5 months off work because burnout basically caught up with me, and I didn't even realize that it was just about to bite me, and it bit me, and it bit me really hard. So what did I do? I just started running, and I started doing loads of yoga, and I started doing loads of breathwork exercises. And this is pre kind of like ice bath territory, but I was just doing all that holistic kind of stuff to just take my brain off the intensity of work, because it does get really, really stressful. And if you just keep on taking these little hits all the time, you're like, oh, it's only another little one. But I guess it's like the straw that broke the camel's back, it's that kind of the last thing. But I think for people who are starting up companies, just to tap into yourself and just know what you're getting into and kind of understand what your limits are, and where you actually just go, do you know what, you actually do just have to stop today and go to bed, or go and have a beer with a buddy, or go windsurfing, or do whatever you want to do. Because if you can't get out of bed tomorrow, then your business is going to die. And luckily, it was much further down the line for us. We had people in place to cover while I was gone. But it is really important to make sure that you look after number one. When you're on a plane that says put your mask on first before helping others, it's exactly that.
I really appreciate you sharing that, because I think it just shows you see, I think I've read and watched your journey for like over 10 years, and I see you as, all the, like your music video and all of that stuff, and it's Jimmy. But everyone can get affected by this. It's a tough journey starting your own business, but you can overcome it and move forward. So, last thing, advice for the aspiring entrepreneurs in the audience. So what would you say? There's probably lots of students here with ideas. Maybe they haven't kind of got the momentum yet. What advice would you kind of give them?
I think that a lot of the advice actually that's already been given is a load of the stuff that I would traditionally say. It is about getting out there, going and smashing it. Any question isn't a stupid question. Don't be afraid to go and call someone. Don't hide behind emails and all that kind of stuff. But I think if I was to, and it's quite apt that we're in a theatre, but if someone was to say, I was hiding behind that curtain and someone said, Jim, do you want to peek at the next 12 years of your life? If I did peek, I'm not sure I'd do it, because I'd be like, oh, this is really big and really hectic and very stressful. But you just go for it anyway. So the kind of point I'm trying to make is actually just know. There's that phrase of just know thyself. Just know who you are as a person and whether you're up for the challenge. I mean, if it's a small project, that's great. But if it's something that does have that scalability and that there's no walls around it, it could just go on forever. That's a lot of stuff. And whatever your dreams are and whatever you're chasing, just know that you have it in you to be able to go. Because you could look at the category, you could look at this, you could look at the product, but you got to check yourself first before you go and embark on these crazy missions.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I would stress that there are so many paths to success, and we're about here at the university giving you the opportunity to go and explore. Right? You don't know what you don't know. So I urge you to go. If something resonates with you, go to it. If it's a workshop, a talk, a competition, whatever it is, there's an incredible ecosystem here. I think that's a really good point. It's like, go find out about yourself. Go find out if you want to do a scalable startup or you want to do a side hustle, whatever it is, you'll find support here. Jim, thank you so much. I've clearly run over time because I can see people moving over there. But thank you so much. And I really hope Jim's story has inspired you to do something and go to that next thing. You've taken a great step here of coming along, but thank you so much. So I'm going to welcome on stage now VentureFest and Claire, our partners, to tell you about this incredible festival of innovation. I can see Ed moving there. So please put your hands together. Thank Jim for me and welcome onto the stage, Claire and Ed.
Ed, tell us all about you, VentureFest South, and for all the young entrepreneurs in the room, why should they come to this amazing event and what are they going to get out of it?
So I'm the only thing standing between you and a sort of drink and a hospitality thing. I've got to follow Jimmy, which is hard. I'll go through it quick. I'm Ed, I'm a creative director, and my job is to work with the world's most ambitious brands, people and places and help them grow. That's what I do as my day job. I also waffle a lot on a podcast with some great people who are a bit like Jim, and there's a really, just think about what you talked about. There's a great episode in season 1 with a guy called Paul Bolwell that started Wiggle.com. Very similar story, very similar sentiment about it's all right to start something, but have you got what it takes for the grind and the surprise that comes from that and the sort of coping with that? So you can have a look at that. But my passion, my side passion, my pitch to you today is VentureFest South. And we've already had one good demonstration because you two, I'm sure I recognize from winning the Early Stage Innovator Award from last year. We're very proud to be a tiny part of your success. Yes, you're very welcome, and it was a great pitch. VentureFest South is something you can all get involved with. There's loads of words on a screen. That's horrendous. I'll try and tell you about it instead. A long time ago, a group of people and organizations came together and said, there isn't anything that's really supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem in this area for people like you, but also there's probably some older people that want to start something and change something as well. And there's probably people who aren't at university that want to access this type of inspiration that you're getting here and isn't available. And so we started something called VentureFest South, and we've helped thousands of businesses and individuals over the last 9 years. I think we're in the 9th year. And the way it can help you is do lots of things, but I'll just show you some pictures instead. It's a massive event, and on the 12th of November, gosh, that's soon. Is that only 4 weeks away? You're all invited. And the best news is, because you're here, and if you get your phone out ready, there's going to be a QR code in a second. You can have a free ticket on Claire. Thank you, Claire. Say thank you, Claire. Thank you, Claire. I'll put it up now. So what is VentureFest? VentureFest is a day absolutely packed with opportunity. We have live pitching in the open mic pitching competition hosted by me, which I hope some of you guys will come along to. We've also got a showcase of over 58 innovators and entrepreneurs that have given funded and free stands to showcase their innovations. This year, we're focusing on a number of clusters that include the creative industries. And I'm just looking at our audience here that might be very useful for you. Commercial creative industries, blue economy and marine, which is obviously in the region we're in is important. Defense, space and security. And then also life sciences. Where's our friend there? Life sciences and biofilms as well. But we've also got a host of other weird and wonderful innovations, and as you might expect, a healthy dose of AI innovators that promise their innovation will change the world. Will it? One way to find out is to validate your idea, and I want to congratulate you guys on taking the first step of actually doing one of the hardest things, which is to get your idea validated by just saying it in front of people and looking at the reactions. So it's brilliant. VentureFest South is a logical next step for a lot of the innovators and students here. We do accept applications each year. We're full this year, but for next year, if you're in the audience and you think, I've got an idea and I want to express that, then this is a really good opportunity for more and more people to go. The other thing that happens at VentureFest South is we match investors to the innovators, and this year there's a special focus on investors. So I'm not going to bang on about it too long. If you don't take a photo of that and you don't come, but you're sat here today thinking, God, there's loads of opportunity, my message to you is get off your arse, because the only way you can actually start making something happen is by your own volition. And you've heard Jimmy talk about it, you've heard some of the other guys talk about it. That actual effort to go out and risk it and to try, that's the first step. So we invite you all to do that. The other thing that you should know is there is a leaderboard of these codes, and Claire is trying to win on this leaderboard, so you'll be really, really helping her if you get there. I think that's it about VentureFest, and I think some of the guys, are any of the guys pitching at VentureFest this year? Have you guys?
Yep. So
yes.
We've got a few people signed up from our founders. Yep.
Great. So I'm really looking forward to that. But we also wanted to do something else now as well, I think. So
you might have noticed when I came on stage, this was handed to me. So we are really happy to work with Ed and the team at VentureFest, but also with Castwell Gould. And as you can see up here, they have sponsored the Innovation Award for the showcase. And so in my hand is a certificate.
And this is mainly bragging rights, but we will also work with the person that wins this. And before we go for this, there's a lot of great stuff. I loved the branding. I loved the drone work. I loved a lot of the stuff and the enthusiasm there, but we had to pick one. And I think innovation and businesses often start from two different directions. They either start from market need or they start from personal passion and that sweet nectar of an iced coffee on a hot day. So for us, for this one, if you're happy for me,
yep.
Can you do like a dramatic drum roll?
So drum roll, everyone.
I need to see the name. So the winner is, with a big round of applause, Cherish Boxall. Round of applause. Coming up. And the reason was, we'll have a quick photo. You've got to have this. Well done. Congratulations. I feel like a school prize giving. Come over here. Quick photo. Just come towards me a little bit. Okay. No zoom? Okay. Thank you. I'll tell you the reason for that was what she's done is identified something that in my mind is so scalable and impacts so quickly. If she can get that right, I think it will, there's real potential to fly. That's just my view and a couple of others in the audience. You might have picked your favorite, and in true VentureFest style, please talk to the innovators afterwards, give them their support, and if we can help each and every one of you, we will. So thank you for letting me be involved and to showcase VentureFest to you guys as well. Thank you.
So thank you, Ed.
Can I go?
You can now leave the stage. So just to kind of wrap things up, I just wanted to tell you all a little bit more about Student Enterprise and Social Impact Lab. A lot of it has already been said. We sit centrally here at the university in the Careers Service, but we are, as Tom mentioned, part of an incredible ecosystem for enterprise here. So whether that's Future World, Set Squared, Southampton Science Park, and so much more, I just want to echo the messages that have already been given for all the students out there. Just take advantage of what we have on offer here. There is so much for you to get involved in. Make the most of your time here at university. If you are looking to be an entrepreneur, attend as many events as you can and just get all of those different advice, knowledge, inputs. And to those of you from our wider network, from external businesses and from the community, do come and speak to any of the team afterwards. There's so many other ways that you can also get involved with what we're doing here at the university, and we'll be happy to discuss how we can help you and how we can develop your business. So we are reaching near the end. Before I welcome another couple of members on stage, I do want to just give a big thank you to two members of our team who you won't see up here tonight, but who have been working extremely hard behind the scenes to make this event happen. So Sarah Dragon, who is over there somewhere in the dark, I can't see, who is our Social Enterprise Coordinator, and Katie Rawlins, our Student Enterprise Administrator. So they've been working so hard to keep this event, and probably more importantly, us in check with timing and all sorts. So massive thank you to Sarah and Katie. But I'd like to welcome the last two members of our team to the stage. So James Hampstead, one of our Student Enterprise Consultants, and Dave Light, our Social Enterprise Manager. And so, James, Dave, do you want to tell us all what is coming up for Student Enterprise and the Social Impact Lab?
Next month, we have the Student Startup Challenge. It's back again. It's a really popular event. If you've ever dreamt of building a startup business, this is the event for you. Throughout a whirlwind weekend, we will take you from ideation through to pitch in just 48 hours. It's a competition, so you'll work in teams, and the winning team will win a cash prize, but also you'll get your name engraved on the much coveted Student Enterprise or Student Startup Challenge trophy, rather. Really, really popular. Make sure you sign up to it because it books out very quickly. And yeah, it's such a fun and immersive event as well. So there's that. And then I'm proud to introduce our new Enterprise Workshop series with sessions running every week throughout term. This is a fantastic bite-sized way to develop your enterprise and business skills. So really hope to see you at one of these soon. And with that, I mean, there's so much more that we offer, but with that, I'll hand over to Dave to talk about the Social Impact Lab.
Thank you, James, and hi, everybody. So at the Social Impact Lab, we're all about inspiring and empowering the next generation of social change makers. And we've got a load of opportunities coming up for you to get involved in. We're running our 100 Big Ideas competition in partnership with Enactus. Enactus are a great student society. Go and check them out at the reception later. They're here tonight. 100 Big Ideas, what does that involve? Well, we are encouraging students to come up with their own ideas for social or environmental change. That could be a business idea, a social enterprise, a product innovation, a campaign, anything at all that's going to make the world a better place. We have 100 cash prizes of £100 to give away. We're running the competition throughout the year. So get involved, submit your idea, and you could be a winner. If you don't have an idea at the moment, we can support you to get those creative juices flowing. We're hosting an ideation workshop on the 28th of this month. Please do come along. There'll be loads of tips and resources to support you to really get under the skin of social issues that mean something to you and find solutions
to those things. Then lastly, if you are here tonight and you are representing or involved in a charity or a community group in the city, I'd love to talk to you about how the Social Impact Lab can really support you and your cause. Please do speak to me afterwards. Thank you.
So there's just one more thing. So over the summer, we embarked on a project, and it's actually quite a big project, to produce a video that showcases the sheer, variety of individuals, students, graduates, ideas, disciplines, industries, and types of venture that we support at Student Enterprise. And not just that, but also the fantastic package of support that we have to help impact these students, but more importantly, the impact that the students and graduates that we work with make. And I don't think I need to say any more about that because we're going to play that video for you now, and I'll let the video do all the speaking. Thank you.
Have you ever had a business idea?
Or thought, someone should really fix this?
Have you ever wanted to make a difference in your community?
But thought, I'm just a student, or this isn't for someone like me?
You're not alone. Most of us feel like that at the start.
But the truth is, you don't have to be a business student.
You don't need a fully formed plan or the perfect pitch. You don't even need to be sure of what you want to do.
You just need the curiosity and the guts to give something a go.
And the truth is, starting something of your own isn't just a learning experience. It could actually be your career.
It gives you flexibility, creative control,
and the chance to make a real impact on your own terms.
So whether you're building a business, starting a movement, or just exploring an idea, this could be for you.
That's where Student Enterprise and the Social Impact Lab come in.
We are Student Enterprise, the team supporting students and recent graduates to start and grow their own ideas.
Whether you're dreaming of tech breakthroughs, building creative careers, driving social change, launching a freelance business, or earning extra income on the side,
we can provide you the funding, the skills and support to make that happen.
So got an idea?
Got loads of ideas?
Or just curious to find out what it's all about?
There's something here for you. You don't need a plan, you don't need a pitch deck.
You just need an interest in starting. We'll help with the rest.
From workshops and funding to mentoring and community, we're here to help you explore, test, build and launch.
Whether you're just curious, already running something, or somewhere in between, there's a place for you here.
Social Impact Lab supports students who want to create positive change in the world.
Through social enterprises, campaigns, community initiatives, charities and advocacy. We know that purpose matters, and we believe that students have the power to lead real social transformation, right now, not later.
Through funding, mentoring, events and networks, we help you turn your passion for justice, equity, sustainability or inclusion into real-world action. If you care about making a difference, the Social Impact Lab is here to back you.
The events are where it all starts. I went to one just to check it out, and I came out with a plan, some friends, and way more confidence than I had before.
There are boot camps, competitions and skill sessions throughout the year for every stage.
Whether you're looking to explore ideas, launch a business, or just meet like-minded people, these sessions give you a great space to try things out.
And honestly, they're fun, they're energizing. You leave feeling like, I can actually do this.
These aren't just student projects in isolation.
You're stepping into a real ecosystem with mentors, creatives, experts, and entrepreneurs who want you to succeed.
We show up because we've been there. We know how powerful it is to start something as a student.
You'll meet people who've built their own brands, businesses, and causes, and they're here to pass that knowledge on to you.
So yes, we do have funding.
We run the Student Enterprise Fund, which provides monetary prizes to get you started or to grow.
From early stage testing and research to developing something that's already working.
You can apply for 500, 2,000
or up to £5,000.
Plus dedicated funding for freelancers and social enterprises.
And we'll guide you through the process. We want you to succeed.
The one-to-one mentoring was a game changer.
I had no idea where to start, and in that first session, someone listened and actually helped me figure out my first step.
Later on, when my business started growing, I booked more sessions so I could learn about pricing, customers, branding, all of it.
It's not one-size-fits-all advice. It's tailored to you, and that makes a huge difference.
We're based at The Junction, which is a co-working and event space based in the city centre in the Sir James Matthews building.
It's great being here in the city because you are just surrounded by tons of local businesses, creative spaces, real-world opportunities to connect, collaborate, and make real change and impact beyond the campus. It's where ideas happen, teams meet, prototypes are built, and friendships are made.
There's hot desking, meeting pods, a boardroom, whiteboards, coffee, and a creative and supportive vibe.
It's more than a space, it's a community.
Thanks to Student Enterprise, I got the confidence to work with one of my dream clients much sooner than I would have thought possible.
I turned my photography side hustle into a business while still at uni.
I turned up to an event with a friend, which led to us starting a business that raised record investment.
I used my student business to land a graduate job I love.
We've launched a social enterprise and now we are national award winners.
I turned a group project into a software development agency that I can run with my friends.
I had the technical skills, but Student Enterprise taught me how to turn them into a business.
I freelance full-time as a musician now, thanks to what I started here.
Student Enterprise has allowed me to turn my passion for dogs into a job that I'm excited to wake up for in the morning.
Student Enterprise and Social Impact Lab aren't here to give you all the answers.
We're here to help you start asking the right questions. Whether you want to launch something, build skills, change something in society,
Or just explore what's possible.
This is the place to begin.
so come to The Junction.
Join an event.
Book a chat with us.
Follow your curiosity.
Let's make something happen.
Visit thejunction.info to find out about everything we do here in the Student Enterprise team and the Social Impact Lab.
I should probably also say that that dog was Katie's dog, so just a big thank you to Katie's dog, extra member of the team. So that's everything. So thank you all so much for coming to the showcase, to listening to our founders, our alumni, to our headline speaker, and hopefully to see you all at VentureFest in just under a month. That is everything. So thank you all.